All right. Well, hey everybody. I'm glad to see that people are starting to come in. Hopefully some other folks will stream in as we get started. We did have a couple folks drop out today from this meeting. Some stuff came up at work and whatnot. But hopefully we can get started here in a couple minutes. And I am going to be recording this. Okay, Katie, hopefully are you able to take notes, or would you like someone else to take notes, Katie? Because I was hoping you would take the notes because you always do such a great job. So, um, hey, Audrey, hey, Eric, Debbie. All right, we'll see. We'll put that on our agenda here about taking notes. And hopefully everybody has the agenda. I will go ahead and share it on the screen. Sorry for the clicks. I do apologize. Hello, Ben.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. I am gonna share the screen just while we'll give people about 4 more minutes. Hopefully enough people show up so we have quorum, but no matter what, we'll get through this today, and I'm glad y'all are showing up. I am recording this because it's not letting me go to the YouTube page. So this was on the WAAMU account, but apparently it's only allowing us to do 40 minutes. So I'm just now finding this out right now. So unfortunately, that's going to make things very difficult. So we might just plan on in 40 minutes, everybody just jumping back onto it. I think you're allowed to do that. I think if everybody leaves after 40 minutes, you can come back. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Audrey? We did that before, I think last year.
Possibly. I know I stopped using theirs and I just used my own because I didn't like the cutoff. So I don't know. It's been a while, I think, since that's happened. But I mean, since we've done that. But yes, you have to have a new link. So you have to make sure that you set up the new meeting before this meeting ends. So everyone can click the new link and get into the new meeting.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and make a new meeting real fast. That's gonna start at 7:45. And then I'll just invite everybody like I did before. And so if people aren't making it to this, hopefully they'll make it to that as well. Hey, Mike. Hey, it's good to see y'all.
Hey, hi. Hi, Mark.
So
Hey,
we
Mark.
just found good. We just found out we only have 40 minutes for the Zoom call. So I'm gonna have to set up a separate one at 7:45 for the second half of the meeting. So I'm gonna be sending an email here in a couple of seconds, and we'll just give people about 2 more minutes to get in, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. So thank you all so much for showing up today. It's good to see you. It's glad that you all could make it. We are taping this so that we can put it on our YouTube. later. So feel free to be on camera as you feel comfortable. We all know each other. Normally I'm like, we should all do introductions. But all right, Audrey, thank you so much. I'll kind of give you a couple minutes to get set up. We do have a share drive where this information lives, where the board should have access to that. And so there's a board access folder that we keep this type of thing, like this agenda. And I want to make sure by the end of this meeting or the end of tonight, that all the board members have access to that. So I have to double check on that one. Because it can make things a little bit easier. So yeah, hey everybody, I'm excited that you're here. Yay, Western. And we have some stuff coming up. And we do need to kind of just get through this because we only have 80 minutes instead of 90. So we're going to be running a little bit tighter today. And is anyone, so we can do introductions if you want, if anyone has anything that they want to say to introduce themselves, but I'm pretty sure everyone here knows each other. But it might be good just to, yeah, if anyone has anything to say, I just want to give a minute or two for that as a welcome. Yeah.
I'll say congratulations to Mark, because I'm pretty sure somebody has a new job.
Yeah, so next month, thank you so much. Yeah, next month I'll be starting a new position, and it's here in Cincinnati in Northside at an organization called Kane, and I'll be the executive director. So this is kind of what I've been training for the last 9 years as part of the Homeless Coalition, because we are a collection of lots of different nonprofit and organizations, and so this is exciting. So as the education director, I've been really focused on education. Now I'm going to have to be more focused on like operations and whatnot. So I'm really excited to lead a team of people. And they have a pantry and a garden, and it's about healthy, living and food and sustainability. And over 60% of the people that use the services have speak Spanish. So we have like ESL classes and stuff. I'm really excited because I'm learning a lot about what's happening with it. And a lot of it's kind of new to me. So yeah, I could talk about it for hours, but if you're looking to do a monthly recurring donation, think about donating to Western, but also I have a new adventure here, this food pantry, and I'm looking for folks to do that. So all right, well, we should get started. Thank you for pointing that out. And it's good to see you, Laura, and thank you for being here. And we are just going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully the minutes from oh man, I guess I didn't share out the minutes from the last meeting. So I think everybody here was at the meeting pretty much, right, back in June. And so, man, I came unprepared without the minutes. So we're going to skip this. We're going to table. Can I get a motion to table the minutes to next meeting? I'm just kidding.
Second.
All right.
Table the minutes.
All right. So we will come back to this. We got to take this for notes. So who is the first? I'm sorry. Can I call the first, or someone else does? Someone else does. Because
I guess if I'm being the Robert's rule, Mike has the first and Laura's the second.
all right. So I just want to make sure you get that in the notes. That's what's on. And then are we okay with coming back to the minutes? And part of it is in the newsletter. That's great and all this stuff. So we'll come back to it. So do I have anyone who's against the minutes, pushing back the minutes to next time? And Katie's now sharing it in the.
I found them. We mean the ones from the reunion, right?
Yes. Well, alumni weekend.
Yeah, I need to change permissions on that document so everybody can see it.
All right, that'd be awesome. But we can, because we got to also take a minute to look at them. So we're gonna just do that. If anyone has any objections to waiting on the minutes, say aye. It's weird how I did that. That's not the way you do it, but it's how we do it on Zoom. So as long as nobody's against it on Zoom, we're good. All right, so the agenda, though, we do have the agenda. I'm gonna go ahead and share that. And if we have it up on the right window. Okay, everyone should be able to see the minutes now. So if you want to take a second and look at that, yep, it's coming up now. That's great. So why don't we just do what we're supposed to do? Let's take a second. And if I can get someone to, we're gonna go back. Sorry, Audrey, this is, it's been a day, let me just tell you. So we're gonna go back and I just do want someone to say that they're okay with the minutes, motion to approve the minutes, and then we'll get a second on that. Everyone should be able to click through to it.
Didn't we?
I'm sorry, Audrey, did you say something?
I was like, we just tabled it and I don't think anyone's gonna be able to actually read the minutes in the time allotted, so I think we should
Okay,
just table
we'll
it
just
and-
keep moving. All right, so the
and
agenda.
I would say, if for voting purposes, just ask if anyone objects, and if no one objects, then we can say that it's unanimous yes and move on for minute
Great.
purposes.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the agenda that we have coming up today is pretty exciting. We have a bunch of updates that hopefully people can just give us some pretty brief updates on that. And we have it now. So could I get someone a motion to approve the agenda? Or if there's any changes, let me know. This would be a time.
Nope. Approve.
All right, so Eric is the motion to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, Mike is the second. All right, if there are any objections, let us know. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Now we're gonna do a little bit of a finance report. I don't think there's too much you need to get into with this, Mike. I know that you have given us finance reports in the past. So if you just give us a quick update, we do have 5 minutes, but we don't have to go that long.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much the same as last board meeting. So if you recall, I reported that we have $4,500 in our account. So when I talked to Sarah Franklin in the alumni office, she said that that's more than plenty, based on our previous actions and what they will cover. That is the Mary Lyon plaque. We paid for $2,500. That has already been subtracted. So the 4,500 is after that amount has been taken out. And I did see a picture of the plaque. It looks amazing. And I definitely think we should include that in our next newsletter of sorts. But yeah, I didn't get a full list of what the alumni office covers and what we need to cover. I got the impression it's definitely in kind of an as needed as it comes up basis, so to speak.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, they definitely are supporting us. If we want to do a mailer or something, you know, they would help us do that. And I'm excited about the Mary Lyon plaque. It's going to be like 3D in some way. And so it's going to be really exciting. Anything else that you wanted to add to that?
No, it's good. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Will
Yeah.
somebody be able to take a really nice picture of it and sort of give all the details about it?
That's a great idea.
That this is Debbie. I'll do that.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank you, Deb.
Thanks, Debbie.
Sure.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And maybe there'll be things that we'll want to fundraise for in the future. And just thank you so much for everyone who did donate. I know last fall, I think you all reached out and into your pockets to donate to that. And I think everything that we can do to really like show the history, but also some of our collective memories of Western, I think really just strengthens us as a whole. So thank you so much for that. All right, so we have a part on here about the awards, the Friends of Western Alumni Awards, and these in the past, like thank you so much for everybody for putting together our award at the faculty panel session, and congratulations to Hayes Cummins for having such a big impact on people's lives, that so many folks were willing to, talk about how you changed their lives and impacted them. So, really congratulations. And, that to me was one of the most special moments of the alumni weekend event. And I hope that we could replicate that again. So I think this isn't under any of the specific committee work, but I do just kind of want to plant a seed that for the next alumni weekend in June, that we would consider honoring another person who has had a big impact on Western. And it could be someone who also is from Western, but also people who are very supportive of the program. And I think it, had it made sense how we did it in the faculty panel, and we will talk a little bit about the upcoming events in the next section. But thinking about how when we all come together, that impact that it has on us, not only those memories, but those times that we have. And so we want to make sure that we replicate that again and just get people to keep coming back as much as possible, because y'all, it was great seeing everybody. I can't contain it. I'm just acting like I'm, being the president now, but, I really did, love seeing everybody and spending time with all of y'all. And, other people who aren't here and other Western folks who I didn't think like, oh, this would be such a meaningful event, like seeing you after so many years. So, as long as we keep bringing people together, and that's kind of what awards do too, is they get people excited, they get people involved. It's a way to tell people, hey, this is when we're going to do it. So if you have any ideas of people that you think would be good for that, you could let me know about that, or we could kind of set up a more formal process on that. So I just wanted to kind of give you some thoughts about that. And if anyone, we have a couple minutes, if anyone has any thoughts about that process, or if they want to be like really involved in doing that.
There is a formal award application, and there is a folder in the WAAMU account with applications with nominations that have been submitted already. So we can talk about that offline if you wish, but there are a handful of nominees. Katie and I reviewed them, and that's how Hayes was selected originally, through the committee and a vote from the board. But we can talk more offline about that process, and if you want to follow that process or come up with a new one, up to you, but just to let you know.
No, that's great. And is there anyone who's really interested in being part? Hey, Marla. Hey, Jackie. Thank you all for joining. We're talking about the Friends of Western / Western Spirit Award that we kind of want to make a regular thing. And so if there's anyone who's really like, this is my thing, you could let me know, or you could speak up now or in the chat as well.
I have something, which is that if we want to request nominations, I forget how we did it last time, Audrey. I feel like there was some kind of spot on the website, right, that people could nominate for the award or something. Anyway, I was thinking that we could put a call for nominations in the newsletter.
That's a great idea.
But we need to have a place for them to go to and maybe fill out something, or
I believe that the form was linked in a newsletter, and I don't know if Sarah still has it on the website, but it was on the website, I believe, at some point. But we did make a call on in a newsletter at some point. So we can definitely find that link again.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good to sort of talk about the award a little bit more, and kind of some of the things that you just said. I mean, not how it brings people together, but just more bring up your memories, and how these people had, affected you and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we could look at the language.
Yeah, we might want to flesh it out a little bit more.
Awesome.
I do remember that, Audrey, putting it in, but I remember like everything's such a flurry with the newsletter always.
Awesome. Yeah, so let's just, make sure that we're thinking about that for our next meeting. And we'll check out the website and see what we have and kind of look at those documents and kind of go through that. That's exciting. I'm really excited. And that brings us to our events discussion. Now, we have some events coming up. One of the biggest one is the homecoming, which is like they have a football game at Miami and they're playing someone else. And so, but the thing that's in it that's exciting, and then there's like a parade and stuff. But the thing that's exciting about it is that they're actually going to be wearing Western as their jerseys instead of Miami University. So they're going to be wearing blue. It's going to be like, hey, what's happening? Why are they wearing blue? And they're going to talk about the history of Western. And we have an opportunity. So we only have 10 minutes, y'all. And so everybody should have gotten another link in your email, in your invite too. If you didn't get it, let me know, because we just found out this is not a full version of Zoom, and I apologize for that. I don't know why I thought Miami would have that. But anyway, so we are going to see, does anyone want to be, would you want to be in Oxford? Do we want to have a homecoming presence as the Western alumni folks, like separate from WCAA? We could possibly do that, and maybe, and Audrey did put the link in there. So when we get 1 minute, maybe we'll all just jump over there. So what are y'all thinking about that? Because that we need to talk about for a couple minutes.
Mark, for what it's worth, personally, I'm planning to be there. I want to see this event and see the ladies recognized in that way.
Awesome.
And also, just as an aside, I mentioned this to Beth as we were wrapping up at the Sunday brunch after chapel, the last day of the reunion. I'm really hoping the university will put together replica jerseys that will be available for sale. Ideally, it'd be great for that money to go back to Western in some way. But I'd buy one of those in a heartbeat. And before I forget, for those of you scoring at home, I'm fairly certain that game on September 28th is against UMass, the University of Massachusetts.
Awesome.
I also plan to be there. I would choose not to participate in something separate from as a Western College Program alum. If I do anything, I will be supporting the WCAA alums and being a part of whatever they're doing. I think if I show up, I'm going to show up for them and supporting them and what they're doing. So that's kind of where I'm at with the thought of doing something separate. I think they're going to be grand marshals of the parade, I believe, or in the parade at least. And I think that we should unite with them and not try to pull from them.
Yep, agreed.
Well, when I kind of brought that up, they thought it might be better for us to do something separate from them because, in terms of like wearing their blue or something like that. And I did bring this up with Jackie and thinking about, maybe getting the Western students involved in it as well and kind of having a Western contingency. Obviously, if you want to wear blue, I don't know, but like it would make sense to wear blue since they're wearing blue jerseys, actually, now that, you think about that. So I don't know, Debbie, did you have any thoughts about that? About us being with them?
Yeah, the Western women would love to have you join them. They are participating in the parade. And just so you know that, you're also a target group as far as the honoring. You're going to receive separate invitations just like the women are to participate in the weekend.
And then Jackie, did you have any indication if there were going to be some student involvement yet, or is it's just way too early before the school season?
Too early to predict if we'll be able to get students, but I'm pretty sure if we make this a Western Center event, we've got Billy, who's an artist. We've got a few students who are artists that we work with. I'm kind of excited about the prospect of doing a float for, Western Center, Western program, and anybody else who wants to join us.
Okay, yeah, I'm really excited. I plan on being there as well. So if everybody who can be in Oxford, you said it's September 28th. It's on my calendar, so I know it's somewhere. Maybe what I'll do is a calendar invite for everybody, and I'll send it to your email, and then that way you'll have it for that. Any last thoughts on that before we kind of move on?
Just so you know, there will be more information coming out after the 1st of August.
Okay, great.
You'll be able to register to get tickets and things.
So
Yeah, sorry.
have some kind of, when will there be a decision about, like, if there will be a float that people can sort of contribute to? I'm trying to decide like whether or not I should try and get another newsletter out like at the beginning of September and like sort of have but let them know like what kind of things they could participate in if they were going to come for homecoming. Not they, us, alumni, the people, the readers.
That's a good question. I imagine, we have to wait until after school starts for the students to get back and kind of see what they're doing.
Well, I meant not just the students. I mean, I meant for the, like, I guess we can already say, like, Debbie, what you were just saying, like that, we're invited to walk in the parade with the Western women, and what else is there?
They're going to, on Friday night, the volleyball team has a game, and they are also going to acknowledge Westerners at that game. And I think there's going to be a reception before it. We don't know the kick time for the game yet. We may not know until a couple of weeks before the actual game. And yes, they do play UMass spin.
I went to buy tickets the other day and they said, buy them soon. They're selling out fast. And I thought, really? So, but yeah, they are playing UMass, but the time has not been determined yet.
So I guess, one of the things that we should put in the newsletter is that people should try to wear the Western blue as much as possible if we are going to be kind of part of the contingency and showing our spirit for Miami and for Western that day. I think that makes sense. Unless we can get the jerseys, Debbie.
They are ordering extra jerseys, but I don't know how they're distributing them. And they're also ordering t-shirts, giveaways. So, and I don't know how they'll distribute those either, but.
All right, awesome. Well, I think we'll want some of those. And let's keep moving here. I think we'll kind of try to communicate about homecoming as much as we can as we get closer to the school start. But I think it would just be people pretty much walking in the parade, going to the game if they like. Those are kind of the things. If we just have a larger contingency, maybe that would be really fun. So we only have 2.5 minutes, so we're in about 1.5 minutes. We're all going to click on the link that Audrey put on there and go to the other room. But we've also got graduation, thinking about that coming up for next year. Obviously, that's a little bit further away, but we've talked about having like representation there or giving out information or making sure that graduates of Western know about WAAMU. But let's kind of keep moving. Alumni weekend, it happens every year. So we will have Miami has alumni weekend next year. If we want to get the support that we might want about like being on Western and stuff like that, we're going to have to get a lot of people excited about coming back to campus in June and participating. And so that's something that if you talk to Western people now, let them know about your experience in June. And if there are people that have barriers, be it economic or time or, accessibility stuff, that they should reach out to us, reach out to me so we can figure out how we can make sure everybody can be there. We do, I wish we had a lot more time to talk about Alumni Weekend. I think it was a really great experience. Does anyone want to say just, I'll give you 50 seconds if there's anyone. And then Debbie did put the award nomination information And so we might want to work that, the language and some stuff on it. But as it is in the next newsletter, let's definitely get it in there. Alumni weekend, anyone? All right. So
Hey, Mark.
yeah.
Sorry, I was slow to get to my unmute. For what it's worth, just looking ahead to 25, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, at a minimum, I plan to be at Alumni Weekend next year.
Awesome.
Can't guarantee a BFP off campus or anything like that, but am planning to be there.
Awesome. That would be great. Oh, sorry, Laura.
Maybe we should go to the other address.
Yeah. So let's all click over to the other one, please, and we'll see you
Okay.
over there. Oh, I'm sharing the screen. All right. I can't leave. I have to wait. So make sure you're clicking over. Audrey put the link in there. If you're still awake, we're moving over to the other one. Thank you for doing this. Sorry about this interruption. Awesome. So moving on to, and with Alumni Weekend, again, Miami's supporting us, the infrastructure with that. So we will just be able to, like we did this year, be able to get, use their registration system, and then we can kind of come up with our own things like we did this year. The Hike with Hayes was awesome. The panel was great, and kind of do our own kind of just let Miami open up the space so that we can come back together. And that's kind of how I envision the Alumni Weekend moving forward.
Just as a note, I will make a push for my class, but it will be the 15th anniversary for the last graduating class of the WCP program. So that, though maybe not significant, it is at least something that we can maybe kind of rely on, because 15 years I feel like is usually sometimes a nostalgic, like, oh, it's been a decade and a half. So just as a note, that's a possibility to kind of bring in some more young people.
Hey, Audrey, I was gonna chime in on that. I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's significant. I mean, for that class in particular, and probably something to keep in mind as the years go forward. Like with all of those graduating classes from the last few years, and really like to start moving on to like the 20th anniversary for 26, or in 2027 or whatever, just to recognize them. Also knowing that the university is not really doing that anymore for most graduating classes before like 50, I think, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that also is kind of in line with what the WCA was doing, right? We just had the 50th of the last graduating class, right? So like that is a significant, date, and something to kind of keep our eyes on as we keep moving forward, right? That's awesome. And the 5-year, at this point, the plan is still to kind of do the 5 years, right? Alumni weekends every year. We don't want to get all burned out on stuff, but we want to have opportunities for folks. So we don't have to make any decisions about that, but some folks have been asking, will we do a 5-year as well? And I think we should just plan on it for now, not make any decisions of not doing it. So the next one would be in 2028, I guess. So that's right around the corner, folks. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm sorry. Okay, we got to get to committee reports. We got the communications committee. I don't
Mark,
know
sorry,
just
for purposes of keeping notes, do you want me to keep time on these? Because I know you put a time limit on these on the agenda. Do you want me to keep time, or do you no?
No, we'll just kind of keep moving. We'll just try to do like quick, bursts, and then just kind of get through it. But thank you on that. I will keep my eye on the time that we have left. So communications committee.
I guess I got to unmute. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what you want for a quarterly report, but when I looked back, we have been doing newsletters almost quarterly, pretty much. It was like this one just went out last week, and then before that it was April, before that it was November. And I didn't go any further back, but I know there were some. So almost quarterly, getting there.
Yeah.
And Ryan's not on the call, but I have talked to him about like maybe switching off and maybe so that we could do every other month kind of thing. But it seems like what is best is every time we have a board meeting is when I can collect story ideas. So it might be attuned to what the board meetings are. It might make sense because unless we can start to get people to volunteer to write stories or interview some, like it would be really cool to have somebody interview Steve Ricchetti, who's been working with Biden, the last 4 years. And maybe there's some kind of perspective there, or maybe he would, I don't know if he would or not, but, there's just there are opportunities for stories because people are doing super interesting things, but it's more a matter of getting submissions or, the follow-up. It's the making it happen kind of stuff, which, anyway, just throwing that out there. So social media, the existing versus new, it's very haphazard. I'm trying to post on Facebook and LinkedIn, and just every random thing that seems to be applicable. It would be good if somebody wanted to take this in hand, and actually like make a schedule, like actually have a presence. But we don't have the capacity. I mean, I don't have the capacity, I should say. But I welcome it. If I'm happy to school somebody on what, like what the optimal times for posting are and like community management and things like that. Because some of that is, pardon?
No, I appreciate that. Do you think that we just kind of should take a first step in like getting our own kind of Facebook page and like our own social media presence versus kind of like you said, there's like 5 or 6 different places to post? Do you think that would like strengthen us if we were able to do something like that?
If there were somebody that managed it, like and could sort of like do the solicitation to all the people that are in the current different groups and get them into one group and like have that be the official group, that would be amazing. And I think that would be the answer to it. And I mean, and right now, like we can't rename the WCP group. And then I also don't know the ins and outs. Audrey, you probably know better about, oh, Sarah, you're on the call now. So about what making it official with Miami versus having it be a rogue group.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, sorry for my delay. I've got a lot of moving pieces happening at home right now. So I'm sorry that I was delayed hopping on. And yes, UCM overall, which is University Communications and Marketing overall, has really started to look at the masses of pages that are out there and the individuality of them, and has tried to crack down on not having so many. That being said, I think that if there is the ones that are active, the ones that are being posted on and have, engagement that's worthwhile, and at least, has somebody like a me present on it, there's not a problem with that. To add something new and for it to be posted onto like the WAAMU Miami page or something like that would be a little bit different. But I'm trying to think back to the conversation that we had at least about LinkedIn and things like that. But did we decide that we did not want to kind of integrate it with current Western postings, current, student postings and things like that? We wanted it to really remain as its own individual thing, social media wise.
Well, LinkedIn, I think, is a little bit of a different beast because there are so many ramifications for, career kind of thing.
Right.
Like we want to, and it would be a really great place to connect alumni with new alumni, like of the individualized studies, and, and maybe have it become some kind of mentoring hub. And I mean, there are all these possibilities for it. It's just more of the people power.
Right. I guess what I was wondering, or what idea we maybe considered before was a combination between what current students are like if we're posting about current student initiatives, and then we're also, you know, if Western is posting about current student initiatives, senior projects, things like that, and then we're adding in stories, is that then duplicate, you know, is that then filling in as many stories as what we would need? So like if they're posting something one month, we're posting something one month, and it's almost a generational, cross-generational thing.
Well, I think LinkedIn like is its own thing, but I think Facebook is the one where we have so many different pages. Like we have some like from 79 plus, you know,
Right.
1979 plus, we have one for WCP, we have one for certain years, and it's not we actually, it's just is. And so that's the question, Sarah. So whether we try to like get all the people that are on all those and have it be, I would love it for to say WAAMU, but then are you saying, Sarah, that then the Miami University communications team then would be posting to it or be moderating
No,
it?
no, they wouldn't be. We could have our own one. And I think that's kind of where this would make the most sense. But we only have 1 minute left with this committee report. So I
Okay.
want to make sure that we're like hitting on the same stuff. So we would be able to, from what I understand, is that we could have our own Facebook page and we can just post, like, for instance, all the stuff from the newsletter, right?
Yeah. And
you
I'm
could-
sorry, I know I'm rambling, and
Yeah.
Mark, but so an outward facing page or an inward facing group is
A
the
group,
question.
a group.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if it's a private group, then
Yeah.
the one obstacle that you have with that and with Facebook is that you have to be friends with the people that you're adding into the group. And I don't know if everybody like, so that's why you end up with all of these individual private groups, is because you have to be a friend of somebody to invite them to a private group on Facebook.
Right. Well, yeah, but we could just make sure we're all the moderators and stuff. So we could all invite people if they're
Right.
not
I
so
just mean,
private.
are you going to go out and personally sit and add people? As the moderator, you have to add every single person as a friend to then add them into a private group.
Well, I'm a moderator on the WCP one, and I think I am, or an admin, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm not friends with everybody in the group.
Because
Yeah.
because it's not private, it's outward facing. Like anybody could click in and look into what's being posted on there, correct?
I thought it was a private group.
Yeah, it's a private group. Well, we'll figure
Okay.
that out. So
Yep,
that's
sorry.
we want to figure that out. And then we could have, so that's what I really need this kind of committee to kind of like really figure out. Like, should we have one? Should it be, called the WAMU, as we think we should, right? And then how do we get the information from the newsletter into the group,
Well, I think,
that-
Mark, we have to decide what the priorities are, like, because it's just me, and then Ryan is still, he's not on the call, so I can't speak for what kind of time commitment he can have. So I think it's a matter of what's the most effective. And right now, I'd say, Sarah, you would probably attest that the newsletter is pretty effective, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Agree. And if I can just touch on that really quickly, the open rate stats that we got were 30%, which I think in the reactions that we had to it, and the average group opening and response to people that are similar to you is about 10%. So if that helps you, your newsletters have been doing really well. And I think the consistency there, Laura, that you touched on earlier, has been really nice.
And the quality, I mean, the stuff that you've curated and put into the newsletters is like interesting. Like I'm learning stuff. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So yes, Jackie's giving applause. Like definitely, we have to. So yeah, if anyone has news or stories or interviews that they want to do with Western folks, or reflections about your experiences, or just connections in your community that have to do with Western, please make sure you're getting those to Laura. And in the most like, multimedia type things way, or whatever works. We want to get that newsletter, just, keep it alive and going, which kind of gets us into, the future of the bulletin. It kind of looks like, we'll be focusing on the newsletter, at least for now. And eventually The bulletin kind of, we don't know yet, right? Obviously, we don't have the budget to do like what the WCA did with all theirs papers, bulletins, but I think we'll focus on the newsletters for now. And as we kind of build this up and get people back in the fold, I think people will want to hear about what everyone's up to, and that's kind of what the bulletin was too. But the
So-
newsletters are great though. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Like well, we had a lot of good content this last time because of the reunion, right? So, Sarah, do we link to newsletters on the website somewhere? I've forgotten.
Yeah, so they are still, if you go to the WAAMU page, they are still there. This most recent one that just went out isn't there, but all of the others have been linked and updated.
So when the newsletter goes out and it's posted, then that's another thing we can use to post on social media.
Absolutely.
But like the link obviously is the way
Yeah.
to, and I do think that Sarah, like if we can build that out as a place that makes sense to me, that would be the place for the school. I mean, the years, the people from different, we have like Beth who does my year, like 1986, gather information, and then they could put that info, like the updates from people there, and like have it an online and kind of presence for updates.
Similar to class notes is what, if
Yeah.
I'm understanding you correctly? Okay.
Yes, exactly. If there's a way to like just sort of build that out, and then then the newsletter can then link to that, and say like, like maybe pull out some little tidbits.
Blurbs and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's a
what
great
I would
idea.
see, like, Mark, as a future of that. It's low cost. It uses all the same people who are already in place to gather the information, and and it builds a community hub of sorts.
Awesome. I'm so excited about the future of the newsletter and how it can like connect with people. I will have to make sure that people are unblocking Miami and Miami alumni, because that often blocks that. But if we can share it on social media, it would be really good as well. And, Audrey's talking about, linking to the class notes. Maybe even we could do like a how to use the class notes kind of session or something like that. But we do need to move on from this. So if there's any last thoughts, I think you're doing a great job with it. Yeah. And let's keep it going. I mean, if we've got 3 times the engagement as most newsletters, like that's very Western. I love it. So with the student engagement committee, is there anyone who would like to talk with this? I know Katie's not feeling good today. Is there anyone else who's wants to say anything about this, or if Jackie, if you want to just briefly talk about the space that we have in Peabody, like we're supposed to have an office space there, and something we can decorate the door with like information about the newsletter and getting people involved. All right, Jackie. Thank you.
Yeah, Western has, we've got some office space available in Peabody. It's always a question of who has authority to allow people to use office space in the building. But at any rate, I am in the third ring of hell right now with buildings and facilities, trying to make sure that we can get non-staff and students both key access to the room, which is going to be on the ground floor of Peabody near the center, 016. As well as, and this is kind of the more challenging ask, perhaps after hours and weekend key card access to Peabody Hall. And that's a big challenge, mainly just because, well, primarily because we're a residential building as well as an academic building. So there are more layers of security there. So I'm hoping to hear from Julie in physical facilities, hopefully by the end of this week or early next week, with some answers. And my request has been for 2 keys and key cards that, WAAMU leadership can use to be able to access the space. And obviously there are a number of reasons that folks could use the space, which is up to this group to decide.
Awesome. Thank you so much for going to hell for that. That sounded weird.
Bureaucracy, that's all.
Okay. And we also will have some stuff from WCAA, some of the extra swag or stuff that we might have left over that we could store there. And Katie does have a little bit of an update. So they are saying we need more people to be part of the student engagement committee. Part of that committee is helping to get the students to tell their stories so that we can add that stuff to the newsletter, right? Part of that is to make sure that we have mentoring opportunities so the students know that we're here for them. And so really, and some of that's also, working with Jackie and other folks, like, how can we be a part of the coursework that you're doing? This class coming up that you've got about X, Y, and Z, right? So making sure that we are doing that. And so Katie's also saying that, a big project is to put together a list of the alumni and their expertise so we can connect folks who are mentoring. It's really rewarding, I think, when we take time to work with students and to mentor them, and they learn a lot from us, even when we're not trying to teach them, right? So I think those experiences that we have, and if they can draw on them, that would be really great. And so also, if there are classes on certain topics, and Jackie has a list to pull from for class visits, talks, and et cetera, right? And so anyone who is interested in getting more involved with some of that, please make sure you get with Katie and Marla to make sure that we're moving forward on that. And thank you all so much, Katie, Marla, Jackie, everyone who's working in this area. Because school's about to start. And I think also with the homecoming stuff, like that's a good way to kind of interface with some of the students if we get an opportunity to do that. And I do have on here just the ARC 301. We did a project with them about Western, where they re-envisioned kind of the history of Western on Western campus in architectural designs that they had done. And that went really well. There was some really great presentations, including a hangout area on top of the Western Pond that was more shaped like a wiki up. It was really interesting. I mean, the students are really up to good stuff. And so if you have opportunities to, get involved with students, like I really encourage that you do that. They even had a summer project of architecture students down here and over the Rhine we worked with. And it was really great.
Are we
And
gonna have pictures and stories for the?
yeah, pictures and stories, got to keep working on it. Yes, you're right. I will get
Is
some
that
of
from
those
you?
pictures.
Are you the one to follow up on for that?
Yeah, on some of those for sure. And then Jackie is having a class coming up, Western 341. And I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about that.
A couple of things. One thing is I'll probably try to work with Katie and Marla to see if I can get a panel together for 341, and then we'll open it up to the larger Western community as well to talk about folks that are doing community-based work in their careers, because that is a service learning class where we have community partners, and just kind of a not expecting anything much, but just to put it out there to your networks. If folks are local, which would be kind of Butler or Hamilton County for Miami University, and they work for nonprofits that want high quality Western volunteers in a service learning class, let me know.
That's really awesome. I don't know. I think you might have heard that I'm moving to Kane in Northside.
No, I did not hear that, Mark.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
No, that's great though.
Yeah, I start next month as the new executive director. So I'm really excited about that. So yes, sign us up, please.
Making notes.
Yes, we will be doing that. But please, yeah, if you have a nonprofit that you work with and you do want to get involved with this, or you could be on a panel, maybe a Zoom panel. Is that what you're thinking? Maybe a Zoom
Yeah,
one?
that's what I'm thinking initially.
Just go ahead and private message or Jackie now on in the chat, or send an email. That would be awesome. And there's some ideas going on there too in that. So the Western theme, just really quickly, they have a theme that's every 2 years. Right now, the theme is, and I'm going to get it wrong, but I'm going to say democracy in action. Something.
Democracy and transformation.
Transformation. Okay. And, you know, as I don't know what the exact process of coming up with those themes, but I just want to let you all know, and I think we talked about this, you know, it'd be great to have alumni involved in coming up with the next theme and seeing how we can kind of support that theme as well. We got to move. And we got to kind of keep moving on this one. So membership, thank you so much, Student Engagement Committee. I know you've had a couple bumps along the way, but hopefully we can get some folks excited and engaged in that as well. You all are rocking out. And Katie's given some lots of information in the chat. So for membership, Alumni Relations Committee, I don't know, Ben, if you want to give us a little quarterly report, that'd be great.
Sure, I can do that. The short summary is there's not much to report. Janny and I have not had a chance to connect since alumni weekend. Well, I've got some ideas in mind. I do want to connect directly with her just to keep that effort moving forward. And on a related tangent, I do plan to do my own individual follow-up to folks who are at alumni weekend, basically to thank them for being there. Let them know ways they can stay engaged, encourage them to give, all those things on a personal note.
Yeah, and let them know you'll be back in Oxford for homecoming weekend.
Sure,
You
sure.
know, it's always great to see you, and I know a lot of folks feel the same, so that'd be great.
Yeah, and if by chance they're going to be in Oxford for the UC game on September 14th, I'll be there too, before halftime or pregame if they want to catch up. But
if 529 could leave the premise, that would be great.
say that again.
I see you everywhere with 529.
Well, you will see me with 529 if you go to the UC game, because that's going to have a huge crowd. But yeah, I'll be wearing Western blue for September 28th for the UMass game, not Ohio 529 blue. Just to be clear. But yeah, I still want to just keep those individual conversations going too, and also to follow up with folks and just remind them of how special the time was in June. For those who are there both in June and or October, how special that was and what the opportunities still are for us, particularly with the endowed directorship. And then just a slight pivot, thinking about membership being us and so many folks like us. I was in a business meeting today on behalf of a partner, actually with an outside consulting firm that they're using. They're looking at redesigning one of their significant public facing spaces. And I think they invited me both as a strategic partner on the business side, but also as an active member. And, you know, with Michelle and I as recurring small donors to the institution. And that conversation went in a lot of directions based on the content in the area of focus for the museum, but it also allowed the chance to just expound on what Western does, what Western did, our whole style of critical thinking, research, weaving things together. Also mentioned how that really has influenced the direction of the university as a whole. That conversation went in a lot of directions, which I'm sure would surprise no one here, but it was also a great and positive conversation. And they were really blown away, thinking that there were students out there who were delving in these kind of things and then can make careers out of it from that, you know, that self-design major.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I think the power of Western, no matter what, continues on through in so many different ways. And Laura's bringing up, we did get a list of people who, we both have an official list of people who were at the reunion, or sorry, alumni weekend. And we took an unofficial list as well. So that's something I hope Ben I think be going over as well coming up.
Yeah. Are you talking about the sign-in sheet from?
Yeah, the sign-in sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a copy of that.
Okay.
You have a copy too, right?
I do.
Okay.
So
okay.
I was thinking it would be good just to do a community. This is what we do in business, like the people that attend events. You know, you do a separate communication to them because these are obviously highly motivated, highly engaged people. So So they're ones like, whether it's like ask them to be on committees such as Katie and Marla's committee, or, like, or the things like the mentoring possibility of the specialties, or, things like that. I mean, I know like one of my things would be to clean up the email lists,
Mhm.
it's just something that we have wanted to do, but it needs a lot of legwork, like a lot of doing outreach.
Yeah, Laura, you're spot on. I mean, if in summary, I would say preach, because that is exactly the type of thing I like to communicate with folks as part of this follow-up. I wish it had happened sooner, but
Yeah, exactly.
we've got something on the horizon to work towards, much like we did in October. We've got something to work towards, and it's coming up sooner, and we're going to have more actionable data to provide them, i.e., sign up and come to Oxford at the end of September.
Yeah. And that's something maybe I should also get on to, is sending out a letter of thanks to everybody. So I'm going to put that on my agenda coming up in this next quarter for sure. Thank you. Ben, do you have anyone else on that one? Otherwise, we're going to kind of move on if that sounds okay. Think about too, Ben, about recruitment materials or stuff that we could put on the door and Peabody on our office, something like that, or a space. I shouldn't call it an office, but the space and Peabody. With fundraising, fundraising is super important. Obviously, hopefully everyone here knows about the Western Directorship, but where that's kind of going, that is kind of a nebulous area. I don't know if Jackie, if you had any updates or anything that you wanted to add to that, or to fundraising in general. Yeah.
No, we're still working on the endowment, but we did just get email invitations, those of us who are on the committee to hire the new director. So that search is moving forward.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
Chris Makaroff, the former dean of ANS, is heading that up.
And then I guess we're going to try to make sure that we're part of that in some way, that there are some alumni on there. I'm assuming maybe some of the other alumni who have been, working with Chris are part of that, but we should double check just to make sure.
I don't know that alumni can be on hiring committees, but to your point about the alumni group that was doing like Future of Western stuff, I think that folks should definitely reach out to Chris. And then I'm happy to do what I can to make sure there's some sort of presence there too.
Because I'm interested to see what they posted, like the position, if they're actually posting things yet about it, or they're just.
There hasn't been a post, but that's, I assume, what we'll be working on in August when we meet.
Okay, yeah, we want to make sure that the alumni are, reflected in whatever goes out regarding like the directorship, right? That, that there is some sort of alumni interaction or component to the directorship, like on the front side. We only have 7 more minutes, so we want to kind of keep this moving. Thank you so much for that update. That's exciting, right? New director, directorship of Western's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Debbie, I think you want to say a couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, and just regarding the Western Directorship and fundraising, one of the Move in Miami campaigns is for the Western Directorship. So if you'll watch for those emails that will be coming out about Move in Miami, it will be one of the projects.
Awesome. So that's, a good place to focus our fundraising right now. Obviously, we will be looking at other things to fundraise for as we move into like our alumni weekend rhythms and all that kind of stuff. Structures and bylaws. One of the things we want to do is write in the fact that WAAMU is an inclusive organization and includes WCAA folks, and includes folks who are staff, faculty, former. It includes, because right now it includes anyone who went to Miami, anyone who took a Western class, but we also want to include other folks and the Friends of Western as well. So that's something we'll be looking at, making sure we get done by the next quarter on that one. Which is great. Future of Western, we just kind of talked a little bit about how we can be involved, be part of some of these classes coming up. being a part of, helping mentor students, having a presence in Peabody. We also talked a little bit about the new directorship or the directorship that is moving forward, and that gives us excitement in terms of what's happening at Miami and what's happening at Western. So that's really awesome. Also, all right, so we've got exactly 5 minutes left, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. So are there any announcements that anyone would like to make quickly and briefly? If you have any announcements, this would be a great time to do that. So Move in Miami starts August 22nd. So.
Who is the chair for the fundraising committee?
We don't actually have a fundraising committee. So if there's any volunteers for a chair of a fundraising committee, otherwise I'm comfortable just sticking with what the alumni office and what Western are doing. There's a lot of opportunities to fundraise in that aspect.
Okay.
And as something comes up, like fundraiser, like another Mary Lion Rock comes up, like, we'll get excited, we'll fundraise about that. If we want to do a silent disco at alumni weekend, maybe we'll fundraise for that.
I think that fundraising needs to be a committee with a chair. I received a note from the WCAA women for my donation. I think we need to have someone similarly writing notes from our board to people who are donating. It is not really a great step moving forward to encourage money coming in if we're not willing to even write a note going out. So if fundraising isn't going to be part of this committee or this board, I do think that we can't expect a seat at the table for when it comes to hiring directorships or being part of anything bigger than what we currently are as a social entity. So I'm just saying, I don't have the capacity to do it. I am considering stepping off the board completely because of my capacity to do anything at this point. But I do think that if fundraising is not a focus, we can't really expect to be able to be in the conversations moving forward. So that's all I'm going to say.
All right. I appreciate that. And everything, we appreciate everything that you've done, Audrey, too. And we understand, everything that you've contributed every moment. We really appreciate you and everything you've done. And you've been a great leader and you've helped me in this role. And we're hearing from Debbie that the WCA will no longer be sending solicitations, and there are options for online giving. So really, they will be getting thank yous and stuff from the alumni office, I believe, as they donate towards that. And so really having the Miami infrastructure support WAAMU is something that's a huge benefit to us. And if we do get to a point where we're doing like fundraising for our organization specifically, I definitely think we should consider having a committee and a chair. And if there's someone who's willing to do that, like we could open that up to do that, and that'll be a really great thing. So if you're considering that, please let me know, because we could do a lot more if we do more fundraising. But I also have a lot of confidence in what Miami's doing and the work that they're doing around fundraising, and supporting us in the way that they can. So any other last announcements that we have? We have a minute and a half. Anyone? Anything?
You're all rock stars.
All right, I appreciate that. We're rock stars. Anyone else have anything? I am so excited. Thank you all for being here. We are going to